When it comes to buying a home, I feel like there is so much advice out there in terms of what you should do. Go out and get pre-approved, talk to different lenders, shop around, go to different open houses, so on and so forth. But there are definitely some key things you should absolutely not do if you ever want to purchase a home within the next 1 to 5, even 10 years. And so this is my quick little list of 15 things that you absolutely should not do that could potentially disqualify you from owning a home that I think are very important. Taking a quick step back, my name is Dominique Higgins. I'm a realtor here in sunny Southern California, and this list comes from things that have affected me personally and things that I have single-handedly seen derail transactions for my buyers, and I want to make sure, again, it does not happen to you. So with that, let's get right into it. Number one, do not open up any new credit accounts, whether it's a store card, whether it's a travel card, whatever it is, no new lines of credit for you, especially if you're 6 months out to buying a new home. And the reason for that is very simple. They usually and typically will ding your credit. And the more dings you get to your credit, that means you may have to end up paying higher interest rates, or different factors start to affect you, which is why I just say don't do it at all, just to be on the safe side. Number two, and along similar lines, do not max out any current credit cards that you do have. So this is something that I have seen a lot of people do that negatively affects your credit. And once again, anything that negatively affects your credit score will inversely increase the amount that you're charged in terms of interest and other fees. Number three on the list of things that you should avoid doing, do not ignore what your credit score is. That story I want to share with you really quickly. I had a buyer. She won the voucher for the 20% down payment assistance program, the Cal HFA Dream for All. She could not use that 20% down payment assistance because she simply was not managing her score at all. She had applied for the program, a couple months had gone by, and she was on the wait list, and suddenly she got off the wait list, yay. But then she had been doing the things that she should not have been doing, and her credit score was so low that she could qualify for the program. And that was a huge hit for her. So please make sure you're actually paying attention to what is on your consumer report, what your score is, so that that necessarily does not happen to you. Number four, do not quit your job if you plan on buying a house in the next 1, 2, or even 3 years. And the reason for that a lot of people do not know is lenders will look specifically at your job history. They love two things, stability and consistency when it comes to your W-2s and your income. So if they look at your income, your employment history, and see that you've been like jumping around different jobs, different industries, and that you just quit your job, it is going to disqualify you point blank period from getting a home, especially within like the near future. So if you do plan on making a career change, try to put it off until after you've bought your property, or make sure you plan to make that career change at least 2 years in advance. Number five, do not make large cash deposits, especially in the year leading up to buying a home, without proper documentation. If you happen to be in a cash heavy business, just make sure that all of your cash deposits are well documented. And if you are also planning to use a large cash deposit for your down payment, also run that by your lender, because in some cases it may not even be able to be used. There has to be special, like certain requirements have to be met in order to recognize those. Number six, and kind of along the same lines, but don't make any large purchases in the months leading up to buying your own home. When it comes to buying a home, there are always going to be surprise fees or surprise costs that come up, and you want to be prepared for those, because it could potentially mean you buying a home or staying a renter. Quick little story here. I once had a buyer. She told me she had the money up front saved up for a down payment. She showed me the bank statements. I was like, perfect, great, we're good to go. A month and a half goes later, we've been searching for properties. We finally found one. We submitted an offer. We got it accepted. I'm thinking everything is good. I then tell her, hey, I'm gonna need an updated bank statement. And she says, why? I'm like, because the seller is going to need to see it to make sure you still have that cash that you said is there, and to make sure you still have your down payment, that the portion of that you're kicking in. She then proceeds to send me this statement, and all of the money, save $1,000 she had spent on like furniture that she was buying for her new place, on like new decor, new dining sets, everything. And unfortunately, some of the fees that she had to pay for in order to purchase this house had to come from her personally. It couldn't be a seller credit, it couldn't be a credit from me. It had to come from her bank account directly. And because she simply didn't have enough money to pay for it, she actually ended up not being able to purchase that house. Number 7, do not close any small and or unused credit accounts that you may have. Unfortunately, when you close an old account, it actually recognizes it as you're now using up more credit than you previously were. It makes it seem like you're maxing out your credit, your total credit line, than you were before. I think the best way to illustrate it is, say you have across all your credit cards $5,000 in open credit lines, right? And of that $5,000, you're only using $3,000 of it. Now, when you go ahead and close out that $500 store card, that now means that you're using more, the $3,000 chunk of a smaller pie, which is now $4,500 instead of the $5,000 you had before. And that can potentially drop your score by as much as like double digits. Number 8, do not co-sign on any loans that your brother, mother, sister, friend are asking you to come on paper with them. That has a huge negative effect when it comes to your credit score and also your ability debt-wise to take on a brand new mortgage to buy a house. Number 9, if you currently don't have enough savings in order to afford a down payment, do not, and absolutely do not, take out a personal loan. That is point blank period going to disqualify you from being able to purchase a home. And it is a huge, huge no-no. Number 10, and kind of along the similar lines, if for whatever reason you have already taken out a personal loan in your own name, please make sure that you especially discuss it and tell your lender that you are not planning to use any of those funds for your down payment. And also do not fall behind on any of those payments for that current personal loan if you do have one. Number 11, do not rely solely on sites like Credit Karma when it comes to your credit score. So in the world of buying a home, there are actually 2 types of credit scores that that are out there. One of them, lenders don't even care about, and that is your consumer credit score. That is a credit score that has been generated because of your consumer debt, purchases, etc. Then you have your mortgage credit score, which is the one that lenders actually really give a hootin' about. If you're looking at Credit Karma, Experian, myfico.com, they're not necessarily going to automatically show you that mortgage score. So it could very much be the chance that your score on those sites might be lower than what it actually is as far as the mortgage credit scores. Number 12, and this is specifically for my small business owners and my entrepreneurs and 1099ers out there, don't take every single deduction if you plan on buying a home within the next 1 to 2 years. And I say that, obviously, of course, consult with your own legal and tax professionals in terms of what you want to do on your taxes. Like, if you want to take everything, great. Just know that that will directly negatively impact you when it comes to buying a home. This is, again, something I can speak from personal experience. I have been self-employed Schedule C since 2014. When I first wanted to buy my own home, I was basically told I couldn't because I was writing down my income to such insanely low amounts that they were like, we can't qualify for you. And so I literally have had to wait like 5 years of doing smart tax planning so that I actually have that option coming up this next year. And so if you are in the business for yourself, weigh your options. I don't want to tell you what to do, but I do want to let you know that if you are an entrepreneur and you do want to buy a home and you still want to be able to get the most that you can actually afford, maybe consider not taking every single deduction that's out there. It's an idea. Again, though, I'm not a legal or tax expert. There are other options for you if you do decide to take all of your deductions. Like, they do have bank statement loans. They do have loans catered just to 1099 people. They do have loans catered just to Schedule C entrepreneurs. But from my experience, 99.9% of those types of loans will require a higher down payment, which is often more than the savings you get from taking those deductions. So that's just something that I would suggest you keep in mind. Number 13, do not accept gift funds before you talk to your lender. So when it comes to buying a home, some people love to get help from their friends and family in the form of gift funds, that's what the phrase is, that they can use to help towards that purchase. Now, the rules used to be a lot more lax than they are today. Now, if you want to use gift funds, you have to, if it's coming from family, you have to certify it. Like, there are certain documents that your lender is gonna have to have you sign, they're gonna have your family to sign. I don't know if they even allow gift funds from friends anymore. You might have to speak specifically with your own personal lender on that. In either case, if your family members are planning to gift you some type of cash to help you buy a property, don't accept it just yet. Talk to your lender first so that you make sure that however that money gets to you, you can actually still use it. Because if they just decide to sell it to you, again, going back to the large cash deposit, and you try to say, oh, it's a gift funds, but then it's like this whole paper trail mess, avoid that. Just talk to your lender first before accepting it. Number 14, do not tour properties before you've gotten pre-approved for a home. So this is one of my more controversial, I guess, opinions compared to all the other agents out there that say, oh, you should like shop around and look at houses before you decide to like try to buy one or get pre-approved or whatever. I say don't do that. Number one, you don't want to get emotionally attached to a home that you are not in a position to purchase at all. Like, that is single-handedly the most emotionally toiling, draining thing that you can do to yourself. And I would say just flat out, don't do it. Now, if you're one of those who tours different homes, open houses, whatever, before you've gotten pre-approved because you want to see what you could potentially afford, I would also say don't fall into this trap, because if you go to an open house and you see flyers, and a lot of people assume that the information on that flyer is like God, like it is the information that will tell them whether or not they can afford this house. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's not 100% the case. First of all, you don't know who that lender is. Second of all, that is also just a loan scenario. So they've probably taken some very generic information, plugged it into their system. They've probably used rates from like 2 weeks ago, last week. You don't know when that flyer was made. It doesn't take into account your own personal income, credit, whether you're buying with somebody else or whether it's just you or whether you have 3 people in the family. So to try to possibly compare your own unique life situation and with what the scenario is laid out in an open house flyer that you have no idea where they're getting these numbers from or how they kind of concocted them, or even whether they're right, because you're not going to sit there and like spot check it while you're there, is just not a smart strategic thing to do, I would say, as a realtor. And also too, because there are so many different things that are out there to help you decrease those numbers, but you look at this piece of paper and it's not even going to tell you like, hey, you have the ability to do seller credits and interest rate buy downs and do all this different stuff. Like, that's stuff that you have the option to do. A lot of like open houses, lenders, people out there don't necessarily advertise them right out. And so I would say you're doing yourself a great disservice to just write off buying a home altogether based off such little information. So that's why I just say before even touring homes and starting that process, just talk to a lender, get pre-approved, even get pre-qualified at the very least. Number 15, and this one can also be a little bit shocking, but do not pay down any debts until you have spoken with your lender. This is very huge because, again, this kind of goes back to our conversation where there are certain things within a transaction when you're buying your first home that only you can pay for, and you have to pay for it from your own funds. What that amount is, you honestly will not know until you're into the thick of it. What you don't want to do is spend all of your savings paying down debts that you didn't even need to pay down because your lender, for whatever, says, you know what, they can stay. And now you're in a situation where you don't simply have enough savings for that down payment. I think what's really great about what lenders do is they can actually sit with you and let you know like what debts to prioritize to pay off. They can let you know, hey, these are debts that can stay. They won't really affect your score or affect your debt to income ratio that much, and they're fine. And there might be situations too where you may have a creative mortgage professional who's like, hey, don't pay any of this off. If you get a seller credit for like, I don't know, a couple $1,000s, we can use that money to pay down the debt so all your savings can be focused on your down payment and the different fees that you have to pay for out of your own pocket. And as a little bonus and tip number 16 of what you should absolutely not do when it comes to buying a home, do not sleep on the down payment and closing cost assistance programs that are out there. I cannot emphasize this enough. There are literally tens of millions of dollars out there all across the country. I don't care if you're in Southern California or you're not, that are dedicated, set aside to help first-time home buyers or even next-time home buyers afford their down payment and closing costs. And the last thing, I'm assuming you're here because you want as much help as possible. And so I would say, do yourself your own favor and do the research and look up and find out what these programs can be for you. I made this quick little video of what my favorite, like the top 6 favorite programs that are out there, but I also have a guide completely free on my website where you can see the top 25 down payment assistance programs that we have just here in the state of California. So hopefully this video was very helpful. If there's anything you think that I missed in terms of things that you should not do before buying a home, definitely drop them down in the comments below. And if you have any follow-up questions for anything that I mentioned, also let me know down below and I'll make sure to answer it. So thank you for watching.